Good evening, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at the NewBus Newark redesign. NewBus is kind of at first I thought it was, new because of Newark, but Newark is the first city that it started in, but apparently there's going to be a NewBus BCG, Burlington, Gloucester, Camden. That's going to be the second one. I think the third one's going to be something like a Hudson County redesigned or Jersey City. But Newark is the largest city in the state and is therefore going to be the first one. So there's two different schools of thought. Back in 2011, it was more about kind of having direct origin destination pairs and just trying to see which gaps in the network needed to be filled. With the more recent plan, they put a little more emphasis on the different trade-offs. So frequency versus coverage, and transfer-based system versus one with more one-seat rides. I mean, the stops trade-off, I think they generally said that the stops are going to be spaced a little bit further out, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think they're planning a mass scale, elimination of stops, but yeah, there definitely are some stops that are like, a block apart that could be fairly easily eliminated. So that being said, well, first of all, frequency versus coverage. The general thing is, it's like, well, would you rather have, two routes a few blocks apart so that individually you only have to walk to one, you don't have to walk a few blocks to either route, but once you get to the street, the bus runs less frequently, or you have to walk further to begin with. And once you get to the street, the bus runs more frequently. So in this case, they seem to have kind of shifted a little bit more towards a frequency-based system and more towards more of a transfer-based system. Now, the thing with New Jersey Transit is that they actually charge for their transfers. So that makes any kind of transfer-based system problematic. And even if conceptually and operationally it might work better, that's one of the things that they really need to address fare-wise. And, what better time to address it than when they're doing their first redesign? I mean, if they're eventually going to get to the whole state, it doesn't really make sense to do the whole state and then change your fare. It makes sense to do it as you're redesigning the bus network. So here we see the general overview of the plan. So they break down the network into a few different types. So type 1A is the most frequent, 1B is a little bit less frequent, 2 is less frequent than that, 3 is so basically 1A is every 5 minutes or better, well, really probably every just 5 minutes, from 6 in the morning to 6 at night. On weekdays, every 10 minutes or better on the weekends. 1B, I believe, is every 7.5 minutes during rush hour, every 10 minutes off peak and weekends. Type 2 is every 12 to 15 minutes, and I believe every 15 to 30 minutes on the weekends. And type 3 is basically every 30 to 60 minutes, 7 days a week. So, as we see in this network, we see a lot of the routes kind of look somewhat familiar to us. We have our 13 over here, going up Broadway. That's not really seeing many changes. We got the 27R. So the 27 has a few different variations. You got the 27B, which is kind of an extension of the 27R, which goes a little bit further to Bloomfield. You have the 27F, which goes to Forest Hill. Technically, even the 27 kind of is the Forest Hill bus, but it kind of ends right around here at Lake Street. There's the 27, I forget what letter it is. I think it's 27C, if I'm not mistaken, for like Clifton or something. It goes kind of up to like Clifton Commons area. So basically they consolidate everything into the 27R. We see the 74, we see the Bloomfield Avenue routes with the 72 kind of branching off and the 11, 28, 29 branching off once they get to Montclair. We see the 34, but they consolidate the two branches. a little bit further. They still branch off to Bloomfield and Montclair respectively, but they go a little bit further into East Orange together as opposed to branching off in Newark and Roseville. So what else do we have? We have, okay, this is the 21, this is the number 1, and this is the 25. These are the branches of 13. Technically, they probably should have made the branches of the 13 as type 2 probably, and the trunk of the 13 as type 1B, because service out to Valley Fair and service to Irvington, those are going to be about half the frequency of the service through downtown Newark and through on the north side, in the North Ward. We got the 39. This is going to end up being the 99. And we got the, well, I think they mislabeled this. This is a 59, but I thought this for sure. I'm pretty sure that was going to be, oh, you know what it is? So part of it, the outer portion is going to be, less frequent. It's going to be every 30 to 60 minutes. But once you get to Roselle Park or Elizabeth, I don't know, they are confusing in the thing. And then one thing they say Elizabeth, one thing they say Roselle Park. But in any case, as you go through Newark, the Newark and Northern Elizabeth, the service is every 15 minutes, I believe. So that's type 2. We got the 62 to the airport. The thing that's missing is they're also missing the Coach USA buses. You got, the 31, which kind of runs along South Orange over here, South Orange Avenue. You got the Central Avenue buses, the 24A and B, which make their way from Orange to Elizabeth. That's why they call it one bus, Orange, Newark, Elizabeth. You got the 44, which also goes from Orange down to Newark, but it goes to Newark Penn. It kind of complements the 24 in the sense that it provides the direct connection to Newark Penn. And we could see that some other routes, the 70, the 92. These things are supposed to kind of represent the restructured versions of the 71, 73, 79 kind of. This is like the northern section of the 71. And, we got the two routes that are missing are the 97, which technically doesn't go into Newark, but it is based out of Orange Garage. And, it really is relevant. I mean, if you're going to include pretty much all the rest of Essex County, you might as well include, the 97 and the 108, which is definitely a Newark route. So yeah, I don't see why the 108 was eliminated. Well, not eliminated, but not mentioned in the thing. They, even if it was to be eliminated, they would have still mentioned it. I just don't see any mention of it whatsoever. 1 second. So what happens is, they break it down by, they write the types. So they say the 3 type 1A corridors, the 1, the 21, the 25. They will run every 5 minutes throughout the day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the weekdays, and every 10 minutes on the weekends. I mean, I think it should kind of taper off. I mean, if you're gonna, 6 p.m. is a little bit too early, but from 6 to maybe 8, 9 o'clock, it should be, something in between, I guess 7.5 or whatever it is. 7.5 minute headways. So this one, type 1B, I mean, they don't really say what rush hour is. They will run every probably 7.5 is like in the middle of rush hour. 10 is like, let's say lunchtime or whatever it is. And every 10 to 15 minutes on the weekends. See, I hope they go with, 1B. I mean, every 15 minutes on the weekends is what it is now, basically. It's every 12 to 15 minutes. I mean, hopefully well, actually, we got to look in the route profile. I'm pretty sure it is every 10 minutes on the weekends, which is good. It's a little bit of improvement. So we got the 1B. We got the type 2, which I think we're going to look in the route profiles, but I'm pretty sure the 30 is not a type. Yeah, weekday peak frequency 30. It should be a type 3 route. I don't know why they have it as a type 2. That would be nice if it was, but on the other hand, yeah, I don't see why they're listing it like that. And type 3, actually individually, the one thing I think that they're missing is 54. So I don't know. I guess the problem is on the weekends, it kind of on Sunday, it's every 30-minute headway, which means on the branches, it's every 60 minutes, which would make it a type 3. But if they took care of the Sunday service, it would be every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, 7 days a week, which would make it a type 2. So then every 30 on the outer branches. But okay, that's I guess a comment to make. And then microtransit, there's this one microtransit zone in the Port of Newark, which it's there's a lot of trucks there and loading, unloading, and the number 40 bus, which runs through there, has a lot of it gets delayed behind, all the trucks and everything like that. So what they're planning on doing is having a shuttle to the North Area Transit Center, and then from there, um, it's like a microtransit shuttle. So you basically just tell the driver where you're going, and he'll take you straight there. And then going back, um, you can call up and tell them where you're at, and they'll incorporate your location into whatever deviations that the microtransit route is making. You can see that over here. It's kind of like an on-demand day. So they call it like Uber Pool, but it's driven by New Jersey Transit bus operators. So we have all that. Yeah, one of the things that really should, is zoning goes um, hand in hand with, transportation. So for some of these areas that they're looking to make a little bit higher quality service, they should, upzone accordingly. Because right now it's, some of the parking exemptions only apply to areas, near light rail stations, but some of these routes are going to be even more frequent than light rail, especially on the weekends. And for that matter, light rail should be, more frequent on the weekends. So kind of have a before and after type of thing. This is consolidating it with the frequent service. So I don't know why they say 15 minutes for one and 10 for the other, but yeah, I guess this is the type 2, 1 and 2 routes for the weekends. So you see, you get most of the city covered compared to here. You have some gaps. I mean, the outer edges of the 27, even though there's the 99, which is like, but it's not spaced out evenly with the 27. They kind of just run independently, which means that sometimes you might have 2 buses back to back and nothing for another 15, 20 minutes, depending on how they spaced it out. The 27R, 27B, 27F, and everything, and the 99. So yeah, you see, there's definitely some more coverage with frequent service. You could see the areas along the 92. I think this is the 70, I believe. 25 would end a little bit further up, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if this should be here. This is every 10. Yeah, in the middle of the day would be every 20. That's more than every 15. So yeah, they could have been a little bit more concise on this. So Saturday, this is basically your type 1A, 1B quarters that get every 10-minute service. So you got the 94, you got the 21, yeah, you got the 13, 27. Okay, here they're more precise. This one they actually, show that uh, after you get to the branch point, the 13 itself is not that frequent. Sunday should basically be the same thing as Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So right now, technically, there's nothing more frequent than every 10 minutes on Sunday, and here we have some, it shows, all the same routes, 21, 25, etc. So now we have the actual individual route proposals. So we can go through them one by one, and then maybe we'll flip back and forth um, to uh, we'll flip back and forth to the 2011 plan and see how it compares. So we have the Route 1, which is currently basically goes from Ivy Hill all the way, through downtown Newark to Newark Penn, out through the Ironbounds. Most of them kind of terminate on the outskirts of the Ironbound, but some of them terminate in some part of Jersey City. So they either terminate in Journal Square or they terminate in Exchange Place. So what they're planning on doing is they want to split it in half into the one, which would serve Newark and Irvington, and the 3 and the 4, which would serve, you know, the, I guess, how can I say it? Because the 1 would actually still go into the Ironbound. So the 3 and the 4 would take a more direct route through the Ironbound, more down like Raymond Boulevard and Market Street, which is a wider street, and head straight to Jersey City. They also wouldn't. There's a couple of deviations that would be covered by separate routes, which would get discussed later in the plan. So they break it in half. So you have the 1 going all the way from Ivy Hill through Irvington. It's kind of weird the way the boundaries of the cities are set up in this area. It's like you start in Newark, you go through Irvington and back into Newark. And so what happens is that it ends over on the eastern end of the Ironbound over by the Turnpike. So this area gets the current service is every 5 to 10 minutes. This gets consolidated every 5 minutes during the peak hours. Well, peak hours and middays, and then I guess evenings and weekends is going to be every 10. I don't know about evenings. Presumably, it's every 10. It's going to run every 24/7. It's going to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I assume the overnight headway will probably be like once an hour or so. Yeah, so here's your number 1. So the number 3 is going to be the Exchange Place variation of the 1. So it's going to run consistently every 30 minutes on the weekdays. It's not going to run quite 24/7, but it's going to run from 5 to 2, which is similar to, a little longer than today, but then on Sunday they cut it back a little bit. I mean, the 1 schedule, if you look at it, is kind of a weird schedule. You have and that's part of the reason, because the core route is so frequent relative to the outer branches, extensions, whatever you want to call them, that the headways are kind of like inconsistent. So going back to Newark and Irvington for that matter, you have side of Exchange Place, it's like every half hour is what they seem to be going for, 40 minutes, 20 minutes, like every then you have a few in a row that go there, once an hour. 361 is kind of like it's weird. It's like a express version of the 1, but it's like, I don't know, drop off only and everything in a certain area and pick up only in the other direction. So yeah, 318 is the last bus out of Journal Square. Yeah, so the evening buses only go to Journal Square. The last bus out of Exchange Place is 11:06 on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. Oh wow, it ends really early, 5:13. So yeah, you just have a handful, literally 6 trips out of Exchange Place, and somewhat more frequent service to Journal Square. And the last few buses of the night, 321 is your last one. So for people in Newark, it almost runs 24/7, and for people by Journal Square, you have somewhat of a gap, but still not. All things considered, I guess still. I don't know. I don't know if we want to call a 3-hour gap manageable, but at least a relatively long span compared to a lot of other routes. It's not like a typical suburban route that might start at 8 o'clock in the morning on a weekend or something like that. So anyway, yeah, so hopefully, I mean, that's one of the things too. I mean, 2 a.m., I don't know. I mean, if they eliminate that 3 o'clock trip, the problem is that for that section of Jersey City, for that matter, um, those people are going to be left without transportation, and then anybody trying to get between Jersey City and Newark, I don't know. I mean, I'm almost thinking they should probably try to, yeah, 322 on Saturday, 318. Yeah, they should almost probably try to run the yeah, but this is weird. The Exchange Place one starts earlier than the Journal Square one on the weekdays. I don't know. They should probably almost run that Exchange Place one 24/7 just to provide some coverage on the Greenville, Bergen Lafayette area of Jersey City, is in addition to or maybe or just run it all the way. At that time the night traffic's not a big deal. Just extend it to Journal Square at that time. So yeah, so the deviations off the highway are going to be served by the number 9, and yeah, well, East Ferry. That's those deviations so close to the end of the route. I'm almost thinking they should probably just run them there, but I don't know. Maybe there's issues with um a lot of trucks and everything in that area, so they want a standalone shuttle. But Kearney Point, yeah, that's going to be the number 14. So yeah, every 15 minutes between Newark Penn and West Side Avenue in Jersey City, and then every half hour to the outer branches. Um, okay, what else do we have? Okay, so that's the 4. It's kind of the flip of the 3, that it runs. Yeah, see, it's a little bit sloppy because the 4 goes over to oh no, so this is the 3 to Exchange Place. Yeah, they kind of put everything together on the 3 and the 4, but the Exchange Place one, the span is a lot different than the Journal Square variation. So you got the 3 and the 4. Okay, so now we have the number 5. So the number 5. So actually, let's go back and let's compare. Um, let's compare this to the original proposal for the back in 2011. So they actually wanted to have one going over to University Heights and the other one going over to this is okay, this would stay within the city of Newark. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Yeah, 19th Street is before Grove. It would basically go just to Newark. Um oh, okay, and the 3 would branch it. Yeah. So in other words, they're taking, compared to this, this recommendation is just cutting it all the way back to Newark Penn. The other one had to go a little bit further into University Heights. Um So the disadvantage of cutting it back just to Newark Penn is that as big as Newark Penn is, it doesn't quite serve all of the transfer points in downtown Newark. And notably, Broad Street is a few blocks away, and there's some routes on Broad Street that don't go into Newark Penn. You got the 24 A and B branches, you got the 13, the 27. Um, Might be missing some. I mean, I know some of the other ones are planned to actually go into Newark Penn, but I'm thinking, oh, the Go 28, um, 59. Yeah, there's a few of them that don't, and even under this new plan, they wouldn't be going into Newark Penn, so you wouldn't really be able to make that connection. Um, you'd have to walk a little bit in downtown Newark, or take a quick hop on another bus or the light rail or whatever. Um, okay, so the number 5 would actually be restructured completely. So the portion along South 10th Street would be eliminated. And there's also the number 31, which runs along South Orange. Let me see if I could annotate this thing. Here we go. So the number 31 runs it starts in Newark Penn and goes basically out to South Orange, but most trips end, yeah, most trips end at Dover Street, which I think is around here, if I'm not mistaken. But in any case, so you know, people in this area, they would have to take the number 34. They'd have to take, I guess if you're at the very top, you take the number 21. Uh, going down, you know, you'd be near the number one, the number 25, 70. Sorry, the 70s further down, so just the 25. So yeah, it would be, you know, the north-south service in this area would just be eliminated, except for, you know, if you're within walking distance of the 34. And it would actually also skip Newark Penn. It would go straight up Broad Street in the effort to provide a little bit more coverage in, I don't know if this is really, you know, East Newark definitely, but I don't know if this is considered Harrison or Kearney. I'm not sure. I'm not super familiar with the boundaries of this area. But yeah, because you would have the 30 going up here. You would have the number 76 go up here and the number 40 go through here. So this would kind of provide a straight route nice right across Harrison Avenue going to the Walmart, which would be good because that would be the connection from Newark to the Wal. Newark doesn't have a Walmart within the city limits, so it'd be good to access employment and cheaper shopping compared to a lot of the stores within the city. Compare that though to the, let me see, how do I annotate clear, clear all drawings, okay. And okay, I think I'm, ooh, oh boy, okay. Okay, well, I guess we'll figure that out. Okay, so compare that to, oh boy. Basically the 2011 plan had it going still through downtown Newark. Sorry, well, I mean, anyway, it's through downtown Newark, but it'll go down Market Street over to Frank Rogers Boulevard, and then kind of swing over that way. This one, you know, provides a separate service compared to the 40, but the downside is it skips Newark Penn basically. Okay, so okay, we might have to. There we go. Okay, all right, that's good. Um, all right, so we go down. Okay, so the next one on the list, the number 11. So they would basically have all the routes go through, all the number 11 trips go through Little Falls. They wouldn't have that little deviation. Well, not really a deviation. It's actually a bypass, if anything. Staying on Jersey 23, Pompton Avenue. So everything would go through downtown Little Falls for better or for worse. I mean, it is somewhat denser, but it also is a little bit slower. And part of it is too that they would cut the 28 from serving, all the weekend trips wouldn't that go to the Willowbrook Mall would just end in Montclair. So, we see the existing frequency every 20 to 30 minutes approximately, Saturdays every 40, Sundays every 45. I think this is actually every 36 because it's every 12 minutes along, for the three local routes along, or the 72 kind of comes on its own thing. But for the 11, 28, 29, it's every 12 on the combined corridor and it's every 36 on the outer sections, generally speaking. But I guess they rounded to 40 or whatever it is. So they got 45. They would just run it every 30 minutes consistently throughout the whole day, which I guess leads me to the question of, for the routes that are, they say every 7.5 to 10 minutes. I wonder which of the three routes, if any, or maybe they're thinking the 72 or something, which of those routes would get the boost to make it every 7.5 minutes during rush hour. That'll be the question. It'll be an interesting question. Okay, so the number, yeah, we also see, yeah, this is on Sunday. It's the schedule. This 11 runs on a really weird schedule. I guess because it's probably the lowest ridership of the three main Bloomfield Avenue routes. So on Sunday, the last bus actually out to um, the last 11 is actually 5:50. After that, it's only the 28, 29, and 72. So on Sunday, yeah, I guess they want to run everything consistently every, out to Willowbrook Mall. Now the thing with the Willowbrook Mall is that not only, even if the mall itself might, not be that busy after a certain time, the thing is that the it's a major transfer point. On Sunday, the problem is, some of those routes don't run on Sunday, and even the 11 runs ends early. So let's just get back real quick. So on Sunday, the last bus is 5:50 out of Newark, but coming back in, it's still, I guess, somewhat early, but 7:59. But this one is saying like 6 o'clock. I don't know. I guess it's averaging it out from both sides or whatever. Um, yeah, but the thing with Willowbrook Mall is that, even if the mall itself might not be too busy after a certain time, it has at least potential to be a major transfer point. I mean, you have the 191, 195 local through to Port Authority via Union City and kind of Nutley and some of these other areas in the middle. And then you got the 194, 197, and 198 that goes straight to Manhattan from the Willowbrook Mall. You have the 705, which unfortunately doesn't run Sunday. It should, or well, I'll get to it later, but there should definitely be a connection from Willowbrook Mall over to Clifton and Passaic on Sunday. And the 871, 874, which go to Morristown, the 871 takes a more circuitous route through Boonton, and the 874 takes a more direct route. Those don't run on Sunday, unfortunately. But in any case, you have buses to and the 704, 712 go, and those do run on Sunday. Those go to Patterson. So you have definitely from there you have connections to New York City, Patterson, uh, the whole Newark, Montclair corridor, basically. Bloomfield, all those areas. You have the connection to Morristown, and yeah, and the 197 goes, I mean, for that matter, up to Orange County in New York. So it's definitely um yeah, it's definitely a major hub. 194 also goes out pretty far. I mean, it's probably relatively suburban areas and everything like that, but it definitely goes out far. So that being said, okay, so that's what's planned for the 11. The 28 is going to be similar, but I'll show you that later. So the 13, they want to cut off the outer branches. What they're going to do is they want to consolidate all the frequency in this area over to the 74. So, instead of having like a once hour branch over here and a once an hour branch over, both of them to that, I forget it, Industrial Way. I forget what the name of that mall is over there. I know there's like a Trader Joe's over here. At Clifton Commons, I think is like closer to here. Um, yeah, instead of doing all that, they would just have people walk from the 74 or maybe transfer to the 190. I think it's 192 and 199 that cover that area, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's the 192, 189. Let me double check. It's not, it's the 190, 195, but I'm pretty sure it's the 192. Yeah, it's 192, 189. Yeah, so they'd have to walk from either the 74, they'd have to transfer to the 192, 199. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I think the 189 only runs on weekdays, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I'm completely wrong. Let me just check that real quick. 192. Because they run off the same schedule. So 191, 182. Yeah, the 199 doesn't run on Sunday, on Saturday, not on Sunday either. It's like combined schedule. 199, yeah, it's just a weekday route. Yeah. Okay, so what was I thinking of? Okay. So yeah, they want to consolidate everything, which I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, there is, especially north of the highway, it is kind of a pedestrian unfriendly area to be walking to. I mean, the question is, what could you deviate from there in exchange? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe extend one of the Passaic routes over there. Maybe what could be extended from Passaic, something that ends in Passaic, probably. I don't know. I mean, the whole Passaic thing. I mean, that 707. It's like a big loop. I mean, some of these routes should just be broken up into two separate things and recombined. But yeah, probably one of those things could one of those routes could be kind of sent over back that way. I mean, this, yeah, 709. Yeah, yeah, I'm not really sure what. I mean, probably if something were to be extended, you could probably extend it and cover Clifton Commons and yeah, or just run the 13 down both of them because the 13 through oh boy, I forget what deviation what the letters are for the 13 heading northbound. I think one is the 13N and one is the 13 like C or something like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they want to combine frequency, maybe run all the 13s as the 13 past Trader Joe's and everything to the commercial area, and then from the residential area, have everybody just walk to the 74. Anyway, so that's their plans. And then if you're yeah, because further along, that's the other thing too. Yeah, because you're really only talking about this area. I don't know, maybe you could yeah, the 75 would be covering this area up along the northern part of Washington. So I don't know, you have to get a little bit creative on how you combine it if you do so. Okay, so that's the 13. 21. So the thing with the 21 is that it runs a little bit less frequently than currently than it would under the plan because in addition to those routes itself, there's also a few other routes that go from serve the whole East Orange, Main Street corridor and everything. And those are the 73, the 79, and the 71. And to my understanding, I believe that they're pickup only I think past this point. I don't know. It depends on, some of them are to Main and Day, some of them aren't, some of them get on the highway, some of them don't, and everything like that. So, um, yeah, those go like Main Street and they go down Raymond Boulevard instead of Market Street, and those are like pickup drop off only in this area. So they're designed to get people from Newark out to the suburbs. So you can't ride them within Newark. They want you to, take the 21 or another or the light rail or something if you're gonna just make a trip within Newark. Um, so what they would do is they would say, you know what, everything ends in Orange, Main and Day Street, which is a couple blocks away, so the 21 would terminate short of the train, or kind of, I don't know, it's like the back end of the train, the west end of the train station is like a block from the bus. So, um, you know, basically, everything would end at Main and Day, and I think it's Tony Galento Plaza. And from there, you would transfer from the 21, or for that matter, the train, depending on which part of Newark you're in. Uh, you would make that transfer at Main and Day, and take the 21 the rest of the way into Newark and the eastern part of East Orange. Um, so more on that later. So the 25, um, yeah, so the 250, which is the Go 25, and the 375, which is kind of like 361. It has like a pickup only section in one area and the drop off only in the other direction. Everything would just be consistent. It would just be the 25 running. In this case, it wouldn't go to the Ironbound because that's one of the things too, kind of similar to the one, but to a lesser extent. The 25, most of the trips or a good chunk of the trips end at Newark Penn, and then it's a little bit random as to which trips are actually extended over to the Ironbound. So they would break that off into the number 9, which will go down Wilson and head out to those industrial areas, the correctional facility, and Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, you wouldn't be able to connect directly from there to the microtransit route because yeah, the number nine would go there and go up. So yeah, the microtransit zone. Let me just check how the current 25 is. There's the 20. No, it doesn't connect with the 40 anyway. Okay, so whatever, I guess. But yeah, I guess whatever, you would have to do it at Newark Penn. Or actually, there's another one that's going to go down South Street. You can walk down the other way to South Street and do it. I think it's the 40 itself that's just going to do it, which is kind of similar to how it does it now. Um, okay, so yeah, it's going to go down to where the 39 terminates, kind of at the border of Irvington and Maplewood. Yeah, right by the Hilton Garage. Yeah, so you have that. Okay, the Go 25 gets consolidated into the 25, 27. Okay, so it's a type 1B route. So now the thing with this is, it's not that long of a trip from Branch Brook Park over um to Bloomfield, and I think there is some benefit of connecting the Bloomfield to the eastern side of Branch Brook Park. Because I mean, whatever, the Bloomfield Avenue routes do it, but I don't know. I think part of the reason for the low ridership is that the frequency is like once an hour, once everything is considered. It's like they don't even extend all basically the 27R is the the 27R is like a short turn of the 27B. So there's like the ratio of like two R's for every one B, and then you have the F on top of that. Or yeah. Well, let's take a look. So we have let's take a look, for example, on Saturday. So in the middle of the day, well, it's like one, and one. So yeah, it's like every, I think 12 minutes. Yeah, every like 12 minutes, and then individually. So the F runs just as frequently as the outer edge of the B, and then you have. But let's take a look at how little time you save. 12:36. Oh, sorry, that's Bloomfield Center. Okay, so if you're coming from the light rail station, that's 6 minutes. If you're coming from Bloomfield itself, that's 13 minutes. So you save 7 minutes by cutting it back to the light rail station. I don't necessarily think that's worth it. I mean, you do have access to the number 90 and light rail itself, but they both kind of stop short of actual downtown Bloomfield, which is a pretty busy area. Um, yeah, so I would probably just try to just go, if you're gonna go every 10, just do it every 20 to Forest Hill and 20 to Bloomfield is what I'd say. Um, yeah, on the during rush hour, we also have that extra one that goes over towards Clifton Commons. The I think 27C is what they call it. Um, yes, Sunday it's a little bit better. On Sunday, more of them go or at least the ratio is a little bit better on Sunday. Yeah, the last few of the night go all the way to Bloomfield. Okay, and for that matter, the last few, yeah, okay, on Saturday do as well. And Sunday, okay, Bloomfield Center, okay, yeah, it runs late into, okay, that's fair enough. Um, okay, so that's my thought on that. 27. Um, but I mean, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, I do think that there is some benefit to, this direct connection and everything. Um, especially also being that they're cutting off the 92 from going to Branch Brook Park as well. Um, which I think is all right, but to have nothing from downtown Bloomfield to Branch Brook Park, I think might be a little problematic. Um, okay. All right. So yeah, the 28 would end all trips to Montclair. Now the problem with that is that on Sunday, this corridor between MSU, Montclair State University, and Little Falls, and especially considering that yeah, this, if there's any students that are dorming at MSU or anything like that, they lose the connection to the mall because the number 705 doesn't run on Sunday, which I think it should. I mean, just kind of conceptually, Passaic, Clifton, and Willowbrook Mall. Just conceptually, that route should have Sunday service. So, I mean, I'm all right with the elimination of the 28 from there, but I think there definitely should be local service. The 191 runs a few trips down that way, but not on Sunday. That's only a few like reverse peak trips during the week. So we see from the Jersey Transit app, they pick the routes. Yeah, the 191 doesn't actually on the weekends. It doesn't serve. Just gonna go straight down US 46 and then straight down to Main Street and through Little Falls, but not down to MSU. Okay, so we have that. So Go 28. Now this, I think I might be jumping ahead a little bit, but I would actually try, given that they're trying to eliminate the 34 from that area, I might actually try seeing how this works running down First Avenue and not all the way to Prospect like the 34 does. I would probably try it something like, oops, this is doing that. I would try running it down First Avenue. Going westbound would be a little, I'd have to make a couple of extra turns, but eastbound would go straight down First, westbound, I guess, North 6 and down to First. Now Hoffman Boulevard. Now instead of swinging back over and going down Renshaw, they could try just kind of looping it back over, back over to Watsessing and back over to towards downtown Bloomfield that way. There's some like luxury apartments that have been built. You kind of see them in the street view. You can kind of see how they're looking over here. These are basically done at this moment. Yeah, but I don't know. I think I saw that the rents are like 3,000 a month or something like that. So they do mention that the 28 goes straight to the airport. So it actually from these apartments on the back side of the shopping center, you do it is a bit of a walk. You kind of have to, it's not a crazy walk, but yeah, the eastbound stop is over here just before the railroad crossing. So you have to kind of go all the way around by the taco shop. Where is that? The bus stop is a little further back. Yeah, right there. Um, yeah, and then it's weird. This is technically the Grove Street stop, and the traffic light for Grove Street is all the way down there. But I guess with the railroad crossing and all that stuff, they decided to put it like kind of further up, which is I guess a little bit better for the shopping center, which comes in handy for me sometimes when I take the bus. But the westbound stop is actually before Grove Street. The westbound stop is all the way over here. Yeah, I don't think there's any other. Yeah, then after this, I think the next stop on the locals is Watsessing, and the next stop on the Go 28 is actually just downtown Bloomfield. Um, yeah. So what am I thinking of? Yeah. So I think it could do if they're gonna consolidate the 34 onto Springdale. I think that's all right because it is a pretty dense area over here, and they have the 94 running frequently, but in terms of east-west service, it's spread out among the 41 and the 34. But this is definitely a pretty dense area. There's even a couple of high rises in this area. I don't know if you want to call this a high rise 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, there's some. some density in this area. Okay, so I think they could give it a shot running up, First and Hoffman and Arlington Avenue and cut back over to Bloomfield. Um, yeah. Okay. So that's the Go 28. The I don't know. The funny thing is, or not really funny, but they reduced the frequency on the Go 28. Now it's like more every like 35, 40 minutes the whole day, as opposed to being mostly every 30 minutes for the whole day. Um, so I don't know. It's like they do say proposed and everything, and now they're, are they gonna go back to every 30 minutes, or are they gonna keep it every 40? I mean, the thing with the Go 28 is that between downtown Newark and the airport, it's pretty busy. Um, but north of downtown, north of about Raymond Boulevard or so, it kind of starts emptying out. Depending on if it's like a shift change time, you might actually still have a decent sized crowd, but the majority of the people are heading to downtown Newark. Um, also part of it is, if there's a gap in the 62 and everything like that, or if there's a shift change and the 62 just came and, the next bus available is a Go 28, they'll take they'll take that. But yeah, I do still think that there's a need for the connection to the Broad Street station. Yeah, and I guess the north side of Newark in general. Um, so I wouldn't eliminate it entirely. Um, Yeah, so I'd say, kind of leverage it to, provide some, basic coverage in an area that's, it's a little bit further. And, part of the thing is, the 34 as it is, not that busy in this area because, it's not really that frequent. But, you know, for all that to, if you're going to go to downtown Newark anyway, you might as well walk over to, but it is, I mean, whatever. It's mostly houses. It's not, high-rise apartment buildings or anything like that. But I think it would be worth a shot to, run the 28 through there. The only stop along Bloomfield Avenue you're skipping is the Grove Street stop, but I mean, you're kind of getting it further. I mean, there's a little bit of a walk, but um, yeah, I mean, the area by the shopping center and everything you're getting on the backside. And you can make, one or two stops, and that's the thing too. I mean, honestly, I think with just a little bit of stop consolidation along Bloomfield Avenue, I don't think it necessarily needs to be skipping a lot of stops or any stops at all for that matter. I think they, 'cause some of these stops are like really close to each other. I mean, there's one at like North 7th and North 6th, like that are, across the street. And then you have like one at Lake and one at like, yeah, the one on Parker is here. I mean, you can kind of see it, the one on, yeah, here's one and here's the other. So they're basically on the other, across Highland Avenue and there you have. So yeah, you have yeah, I don't know, these Jersey Transit bus stops are sometimes kind of hard to find. Sometimes it's just like here we go. Sometimes in some areas it's just a no parking sign or something. You have to assume it's a bus stop. So that's one. Then you walk down the block. And as soon as you cross that street, then you have yeah, you have another one or whatever. You have anyway, you have that, and you have one by 4th Street that's just after the light rail and everything. That's yeah. So there's definitely some room for consolidation of the bus stops. Now, okay, so that's the Go 28. Okay, number 29. Um, so they would eliminate the express variant, and I believe that on the it's weird because I saw the sign in Newark, Penn that said that I think the morning trips go express to Montclair and the afternoon trips go express to Verona. So let's see if that's the case. I don't know, or maybe I don't know. I'm not seeing any express trips in the yeah the afternoon trips go to Verona. There's nothing indicating that this is express. And then let's see, going back, does it do anything? X and K. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was like an old service pattern or something like that. But yeah, they would eliminate the X variant and just have it run straight down Bloomfield. Now the thing is that there is, I think, still somewhat of a need, especially if you're going to eliminate both the 79 and the 29. I think that's a little overkill. So I would probably just go for extending some of the rush hour trips. You don't have to do this deviation because this is already covered by. I don't know if they cut the Parsippany Transit route. I mean, there's one like loop that does that, and then there's the 871, which is a separate thing. I mean, all these routes should kind of be restructured, but I think if you just go straight across, you should be all right and just end it over there. Just because also, this provides a route from the north side of Newark, and even if the 771 comes from Orange, to get from this area down to Orange could be a little bit tricky. You'd have to get to like the 92, yeah, depending on where you are and everything. And the 92 is all the way up in Bloomfield. So if you're on the north side of Newark and let's say Upper Roseville or even Forest Hill or something like that, it would be a bit of a hike or whatever. Um, okay, so that would be your the 29. What I do with that? So the 30, they would swap with the 76. I mean, I don't have a strong opinion on this, but I mean, the 76 being the longer route should probably be taking the quicker option and the quicker way up Belgrove, and the 30 should probably remain on Kearney. The one thing that would be nice, but isn't, I wouldn't say crucial, is there's nothing that directly serves the ShopRite. Belgrove Drive is, you kind of see with the layout of the houses. Belgrove Drive is there's no connection to the ShopRite from here. Um you have to kind of walk through the Vermella complex and pick up the bus over here, which Lincoln Avenue or whatever, or Clark Street for that matter. Yeah, this is I think a signed bus stop, but for some reason this one is just not signed. It's like, I don't know, I guess the people of Vermella wanted it that way, that only people who know that it's a bus stop should go, but I don't know. What if there's somebody trying to visit them or something? So yeah, it's like I can't really see from across. It's like it's a no. I know it's right around here. It's like a no parking sign. I don't know. Somehow the bus, I think it was on the Newark bound sign. It was, yeah. So somehow you're supposed to know that this is a 76 stop. It says no parking anytime. It doesn't say anything about a 76 or that it goes to Newark or any bus to Newark or any Jersey Transit bus or any bus or anything. And you're just supposed to assume, okay, no parking. I guess that means the bus stops there. There's probably no parking sign on the other side too that I can't see. Let's see if I can find it real quick. No, I know I definitely saw a bus stop there. So, um, oh, there it is. Yeah, so there's no parking, no indication that's a 76 to Hackensack or Jersey Transit bus or anything. So, I don't know. That's a bit of a head scratcher. Anyway, so we got that. Okay, so the 34 is mentioned. This would be kind of combined into a little bit further. So the portion through Upper Roseville would be um, eliminated in this case. Like I said, my idea would be to kind of run it have it covered with the 28 at least partially. Just have the 28 cover the area east of Garden State Parkway. Have the 34 itself run west of the Garden State Parkway, and call it a day from there. I don't think this area should be completely without service. So you got that 37 to Lyons Avenue. Um, okay, so yeah, a little bit of restructuring at the Irvington bus terminal end, and okay, it'll come in through Haynes Avenue as opposed to through US 22. I know they're building a PATH station. I know at some point, I don't know. I mean, hopefully the crazy thing is that the Newark Airport station cannot be accessed from the surrounding community. Um, it's weird. It's like they built it specifically for the airport. So even if you live in Dayton, I mean, it's kind of whatever, a little bit industrial and everything like that. But if you're willing to walk, man, I don't know what's up with this. Is it the screen or is it? But okay, Haynes Avenue. Okay, so here's the actual station. But in any case, hopefully at some point they end up, opening that up and people can, if you live in this area. So here's the park. If you live to the south, you can kind of walk. This neighborhood's called Dayton. It's on the other side of Weequay Park. Yeah, this is like the main residential area of Dayton around here. And a couple of park buildings and everything like that. Yeah, right now the only transit service really in this area is the 24A and B buses. Um, that's the other thing too, I guess. Probably if they figure if it comes up here, probably they want like a stop right around here to at least provide service from Dayton neighborhood over to points west, Weequay, Irvington, etc. Um, actually, okay, it looks like it. Okay, I don't know if there is a stop right now, but not worth going too much in it. Maybe there is a stop over here. So, okay, there is a stop like right there for the 37. Probably something else going. There should be something else going eastbound, especially because yeah, and that's your access to Manhattan with the 107. But that's the problem that anything that's bus based, the 107, if there's any issues, um, at the Lincoln Tunnel or anything like that, you don't have any alternative yet, you know, or any significant alternative. You have to either that or make extra transfers, go up to downtown Newark, take a bus across the Penn Station, and catch a PATH train or a regular train over there. Um, Jersey Transit train, the commuter rail. Okay, 39. Yeah, they have like a couple of times a day variant called the 39X that goes up to Washington Park. They would just eliminate that. They would also kind of streamline it, run it along, save it a turn or so, because now it would just turn straight onto Bergen. It wouldn't have to go, uh, what is this, Clinton, if I'm not mistaken? Basically followed the 13 for a little bit longer. I think it's Clinton. Yeah, Clinton. Yeah, Clinton over to Elizabeth to Biglow. It would just go straight down Clinton to Bergen. It is a little bit of a hill coming up from Elizabeth Avenue. It is a little bit of a hill coming from there. But there's so what do you got? You got the high school. Yeah, but depending on where you're coming from, I guess that's why they call it Clinton Hill. Yeah, I guess it is a little bit of a uphill walk, a little bit, probably less so from Clinton Avenue itself. So yeah, that's the plan for the 39. Straighten it out a little bit in this section. Um, yeah, they still have that one, but that's kind of necessary because he's, want to cover that little pocket of Irvington. Uh, it's otherwise the 94 is the only bus that covers that area, which doesn't go to downtown Newark. Okay, so you got the number 40, which would actually it would bypass the whole port of Newark area. And that would be served by microtransit from the North Area Transit Center. Yeah, so the span would be extended a little bit, or a little bit later on 7 days. Okay, the 41, this I definitely agree. Oh, this is the other thing too. So the 11, 28, 29, also have a similar thing going. So right now it's only on Sunday and after weekdays and Saturdays after 7 o'clock that they go to Newark Penn. So these routes plus the 41 would go to Newark Penn at all times is what it looks like, which is good, because you need that direct connection over to Newark Penn and everything like that. It's, to have to get off your PATH train and then take, the light rail for one stop or another bus for one stop, or, have to make an extra transfer for no reason when a good chunk of the people are going to Newark Penn. That this will definitely help a lot to, send it directly to Newark Penn all times. The one thing I would probably do is, because the 97 doesn't run on Sunday, I would either do one of two things: either branch the 34 so that it goes to both halves of Montclair, and for Bloomfield, you would just have to transfer to the 94, or leave it with its Bloomfield branch, but send the 41 up to Montclair. The only slight downside is that you wouldn't have the connection to the buses out to um, like Parsippany and everything, the 771, 773, Livingston, everything, 775. So right now, yeah, you got the 41. I mean, this area isn't a huge deal or whatever it is. It's already covered, but you can maybe extend this down to Park if you need the other buses. You can walk down Main for a block. 771 down Eagle Rock Avenue, you'd still have that direct connection, and then kind of swing it back over here to Orange Road, where it's a little bit further. Because that's the other thing. If you're west of Orange Road, then you have to walk all the way from here down to here, down to the 34, which also doesn't run on Sunday. Well, I mean, that's really the key thing, is neither of those routes runs on Sundays. So, I think providing some amount of coverage yeah, I mean, really, there shouldn't be routes that just end on Saturday. I mean, that, in this day and age, Sunday is pretty much just as important as Saturday. All right, so we got the 41, 59. Now, this is the thing. This says the 59 will see improved frequency to Elizabeth, with service operating every 15 minutes. Every other trip will extend south to Dunellen. Service south to Dunellen to Bridgewater Commons will still have access to the 114 and 117. I'm pretty sure the 59 already ends in Dunellen. Now have a short turn at Roselle Park. I don't know what that means. That's the lowercase thing that I don't know if that's referring to the current setup or the proposed setup. So I don't know. Are they proposing from Roselle Park? Are they proposing from Elizabeth? I don't understand what's going on. But in any case, they'll have a little bit of a span extension. I don't know why they're saying 5 o'clock. That seems a little too early compared to I don't think it ends at 5 o'clock. Let's see what it says right now. Sunday. Okay, 7:33 out of Newark. And 7:28. Yeah, I don't know why they're saying 5 o'clock. Yeah, everything. Yeah, I just don't see it. Okay, but in any case, yeah. So the main thing they're gonna run a little bit more frequent service. They'll I don't know, somewhere north of Elizabeth, either north of Elizabeth or north of Roselle Park. It'll run every 15 minutes or so. Yeah, and then on the weekends, I don't know, but they're running it proposed every 60 minutes on Sunday. That seems a little off. I don't know. I would think that they would run it every 30 minutes, just because yeah, I would think they would run it every 30 minutes. Especially given that it's they're proposing to eliminate the 66. All right. So oh yeah, that's the other thing too, and this is one of the things that they got to include. Yeah, they're not really including a way on, you know, how people would get to, I guess we'll get to that when we get to the 66 section of the proposal. 62 doesn't change too much. It's just that deviation over to IKEA gets eliminated and is still served by the 40. Um, and then, yeah, service by a division street gets eliminated. Your hard drive. I think there's like a postal facility. I think they should probably still at least they have a couple of trips that I think that I know there's one specific trip. It's probably based around the shift change. I mean, probably at least for the shift changes, they should run out there. Unless there's airport shuttles that run out there. But still, I mean, if you could fill up a bus with a shift change, I mean, you might as well try that. So 65 goes all the way out to Bridgewater Commons. That's going to get eliminated. It's like 2 trips in the morning on Saturday, and yeah, just some rush hour service during the week. 66, on the other hand, so this will get split up among a few routes. So thing that annoys me is that it kind of just throws these numbers out there and doesn't really explain um it doesn't really explain how exactly you're supposed to get to these routes to make the connection. So right now, so the 117 is completely irrelevant because the 66 doesn't go that far. You know, the 117 is like a express along US 22. It doesn't, I think it does start making stops at like Plainfield or something. The 114, the thing is, the 114 also during rush hour, you know, has some trips that operate express. Um, I believe from here, if I'm not mistaken. So they go straight down US 22, and then there's others that run local. So people going to some of these areas would have to transfer twice. So really, what what your connections are would be well, if you're trying to go from Union County Community College over to Newark, um, you would have to take 1 second. The So nothing goes to Newark straight from there because the 59 doesn't go there. So you would have to take the 54 over to, see, this is, you know, something that they should be saying. So you would have to take the 54. I don't know if they're going to put a letter to that branch or whatever it is, but the Union County Community College branch, you'd have to take that over to Irvington Terminal. And then from Irvington Terminal, depending on where you're going, you'd have to take the 37 if you're going towards Weequay, or if you're going towards downtown New York, you'd have to go, you know, the 25 or maybe the 70 if it comes first. Or for that matter, you know, any of the 27, 13 or whatever it is. But so you'd have to get, you know, you'd have to take the 54 over to the Irvington for a bus to Newark. Yeah, from this area, what goes here? I think that's the 114 area. Yeah, that's 114 territory. So you would have to take both 114s if you're going during rush hour. You'd have to take like the express to here and then the local further down, and then take the 99 from Maple. I think it's Maple and Bloy is the name of the stop. Yeah, and then take the 99 up from there. If you're going down Morris, I mean, in this case, you could at least just take the 114 local over to the 99. Yeah, but they don't mention the 114 on here, so um, you know, it's kind of hard to trace it out. I think it goes down here. Like you'd have to make your transfer over here. So you'd have to get to the 99, but I don't think it connects with the 59. So if you're trying to go straight to downtown New York or whatever it is, you're gonna have to walk or transfer from the 99. Or, you know, if you could get your way over to here, but even then, there's nothing that goes to. Oh, the 70 does. The 70 does. Okay. Yeah, but they don't mention the 70. So really, your options are like the 70, the 114, the 52 can get you from the Union Avenue part, but that's also the 114. 52 can get you over to Elizabeth for the 59. But I don't think that runs on Sunday. I think only the 26 runs on Sunday. Okay, so I mean it could work, but you know, to eliminate it, but you gotta clear up all the alternatives and everything like that. The other thing is that you're also eliminating the connection from that section of Weequay over to Newark Penn. So you'd either have to transfer in downtown Newark or make your way over to the 39 if you're going to or from Newark Penn. Or if you want to get creative, you could take the 37 to the 62. But most likely you just transfer in downtown Newark or walk it if you don't want to transfer to 39. Okay, the 70, they would kind of simplify it. The thing that I hope is because it's based out of Hilton Garage. There's a couple of trips that start in Irvington. Those should continue to start in Irvington. Just as a part of any redesign, they should try to minimize the amount of deadheading. So if you have a trip that can start out by the garage and serve an area that needs reverse peak access out to the suburbs for jobs, you should do that. So the 25 already runs towards Newark. It's going to get 24/7 service. So running, westbound, Avon Avenue, obviously, but there should be other trips, from Irvington. You should have trips that start at Irvington going towards Newark and then head back and complete their round trip going towards Livingston. So we have that. The 70. So the 71 gets eliminated and gets replaced with the 771. And also, I believe some of the other routes, 773 and 775. So let's just zoom in a little bit and let's try to make out. Actually, they don't even mention the 774, which is what's covering the rush hour section. Yeah, they don't mention the 774. So that's another thing that's a separate topic too, that the 77 as a shuttle does not really make too much sense. So let's see. So this right here is the 771. So that covers Eagle Rock. And no, sorry, this is the 773, I believe. I guess we'll see later on. So part of it is covered by the 773. Most of it is actually covered by the 771. I don't know, that's pretty significant. They don't mention the 773 at all. Yeah, this section is covered by the 773. And yeah, but the rest is covered by the 771, and this is covered by the 774. All right, so the 72, now this is one of the ideas I'm a little more passionate about. So what happens is that it is definitely a good idea to have a route connecting Patterson to Newark. I mean, it's same way the 76 connects Hackensack to Newark. I mean, the 72 should definitely connect Patterson to Newark. Well, actually, sorry. Newark and Patterson should definitely be connected, not necessarily by the 72. Now, the thing is that 72 is actually similar runtime to the 74 because this section is busier than Bloomfield Avenue and everything. The Bloomfield Avenue actually moves pretty well. But the thing is, the fact remains that I think this corridor from Patterson to Passaic along Main Street, Main Avenue, they change names as it goes through, like Clifton, Patterson, and Passaic. It goes from Main Street to Main Avenue. This needs the connection to Newark more than these suburban parts of Clifton and Bloomfield. So you still have the connection from Patterson itself, but if you run here and then get on the highway, McCarter Highway, which is Jersey 21, and then go to Newark Broad and head over to Newark Penn, that would be quicker than the current 772 and just generally more marketable because you have an express segment and everything. So I definitely, think that it's more marketable to have it like that. Probably you'd have to cut the Passaic to Branch Brook Park section of the 774 into its of the 74 into its own route. And anybody who needs to go from Branch Brook Park or Nutley or Belleville over to Patterson or Clifton for that matter, would just need to transfer in Passaic. I don't think that there's necessarily enough demand to support the dollar vans, the 190, the 74 to straight to Newark, plus the 74 to the North Ward, Branch Brook Park. I don't think there's necessarily enough demand to support all of that. But I think if you cut it back to the Passaic bus terminal, I think and have the main section, go to Newark Penn. I think that should be all right. The other thing is that the 72 along Bloomfield Avenue is not really coordinated with the other routes. It kind of runs on its own schedule. The other thing is, I don't know if it makes too much of a difference from an operational point of view, but it's out of Market Street Garage and Patterson. The other Bloomfield Avenue routes, even including the Go 28, are out of the Orange Garage. So there might be some dispatching efficiency that helps along the Bloomfield Avenue corridor like that. So what I would do is, cut it back to Bloomfield. Make sure you keep the span. The frequency, you could keep the frequency and kind of be on the generous side. So it's like, all right, if it's every 50 minutes, cut it back to reduce the headway to every 30 minutes. With the savings. Anything else reinvested into the corridor along here. So if you're like, okay, well, we'll run 15-minute service until 8 o'clock, run it till 10 o'clock, on the weekends, same thing and everything. But yeah, I would run it in as a Patterson to Bloomfield route and as a Newark, Passaic, Clifton, Bloomfield, Clifton, Patterson route. And then have the Passaic to Branch Brook Park, you could put another number, 77 or something like that. Okay, so 73, they're going to call it the 773, but I think that's, again, a little inaccurate. So what do we have? So this is the express of the 73. Hold on one second. The 73, 773. Let me just take a look on this map over here. There we go. Okay, so that's your microtransit. Type 1B, type 2, type 3. Oh, there we go. So this is definitely the 771. I think this is the 73 and this, 775. Okay, so the lower one is the 773. Is that generally true? Yeah, this is 773. Comes back up. I mean, they should have also mentioned the 771 as well, because this is covered by the 771. Okay. Okay, so the 74. Okay, like I said, I already kind of discussed what it is. I mean, it's good that they improve the frequency, but you could just improve the frequency of the Passaic to Branch Brook Park section and still have it just end at Passaic. Or apparently, I don't know, the 709 apparently is busier from Passaic over to Garden State Plaza. You could maybe combine it with a route like that. Or one of the other routes that I don't know, there's other routes that the 707 kind of makes like a weird loop and everything. Some of these routes could, split up in a different way. Have every other bus terminate in Passaic or something like that. So this I think is all right. The only thing is that it shouldn't run every hour. It should run every half hour. Because I think part of it is, the ridership is low because service is minimal. So given that, this is going to be your main connection to the light rail, I would just run this every half hour. Yeah, so 76. Okay, I mean, not a huge fan of the swap and Carney, but I could deal with it. I do think that the express variant should be maintained. I mean, these other variants, I don't know, I'd have to see what the ridership is on these things, but you know, Some of these, I don't know if there's necessarily a transfer available to every single route that goes there. Okay, 192. Okay, I guess you could connect with the 192. Can you? I don't even know. Is there something? I don't. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm pretty sure Route 3 is a limited access highway in this area. I'm pretty sure you can't get from 192 over to. Yeah, definitely can't do that. No, they don't mention a. Yeah, so this office park over here, the 192 doesn't really help you that much. This one, uh, I don't know. I'm not really wild about I guess 772. Does that help? Kind of. So the 144 going down in the morning, so you'd have to transfer in Hackensack basically. Then the 144 doesn't even, it does it. And I guess somewhere in Hackensack you could transfer. Yeah, somewhere in Hackensack you could transfer the 144. I don't know. Yeah, for the office park over here, I don't know if you could really transfer the 192. If that's the case, they should at least make the 192 divert. But that's gonna be. Oh, actually, I don't even know. Let's see. That might even be a reverse peak diversion. So that's people coming from Union City in the morning, which means yeah, that doesn't really. Oh boy. All right, that's 92. All right, what do they got? So we're looking for the office park. Yeah, that's only reverse peak that they serve it. So yeah, if you're coming from Newark, you could go to Union City and backtrack. But if you're coming from like Kearney or Arlington, that's going to be rough. Yeah, it's going to be rough to get to the 192. I don't know, maybe some on-demand shuttle or like an easy ride shuttle type of thing. Probably yeah. That I mean that might be the best thing. Connect to those two stations, Rutherford, Kingsland, and then head down from there. Yeah, if you don't want to have the 76 do a standalone diversion, you could do that. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say on that. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Florida Highway, I think, should just generally be a better utilized resource. I mean, I'm not wild about eliminating those express trips. 78, I'm not really, as familiar with that. So that's apparently going to the UPS and not going down to Secaucus Junction. And I guess it's not going around the colonnade or whatever it is. I don't know if that's even the case. Let me see. 78. Broad Street, Penn Station. What's this? So Raymond Boulevard, University Broad. Maybe they already eliminated in this one. I guess at some point maybe it looped around like the Colonnade apartments and everything and Pavilion apartments. Okay, so that's that. 79. Okay, I think I'm already, probably still be something in serving this part of US 46 in the form of the 29. Um, just because the 871 is not that frequent. And even though I have my own ideas for that, I don't think yeah, you still need something from at least the Newark area. Um, Okay, 90. Okay, they're gonna improve the frequency, cut it back to Irvington, which a decent amount, the evening trips all do it. Yeah, so they'll cut it back to Irvington. 92. This is I'd say this is pretty good. So um in order to kind of boost ridership north of Bloomfield, what they're looking to do is send it over to North Arlington so that people don't have to looking to get from, let's say, this part of Belleville over to North Arlington. Right now, you kind of just have to walk because you don't really have any good alternatives. You'd have to take like the bus to the light rail and like come into downtown Newark, and or the bus to the 27 or the 99 and then the 76 or whatever it is, at Newark Broad, or to stop after like 8th Avenue, whatever it is. Yeah, so this will be a lot more direct. What would be really good is if they could get a handle on the traffic and extend this over to Journal Square. I don't know how that would impact reliability, but I do think that there would be somewhat of a, you know, especially given that the train from uh, the Midtown train, the 33rd Street path ends at Journal Square. It's like if you're coming from Greenwich Village or whatever it is, or if you're coming from Midtown, and you're not within walking distance of like Port Authority or anything, you're kind of doing a little, a couple of extra transfers or whatever it is that might not be necessary. Because you're taking the path to Harrison, and then you got to take the number 40 up and everything like that. So it might be, beneficial to that. Now, the one thing is that they're looking to they're discussing what to do with the branch. What's it called? The old Boonton branch or Boonton line or whatever it is. Um, so when they combined the Montclair and Boonton lines, they eliminated a few stops. They eliminated like a stop in North Arlington. They eliminated a stop in like North Newark over here. They eliminated a stop like, I don't know. There was like Rose Street, and there was like Benson Street or something. I don't know. There's a few. They kind of went like through here and provided a direct connection to Hoboken. Now that that's not there, you're kind of you don't really have any options to get to Hudson County. You kind of have to backtrack to Newark and take the Morrison Essex line. Or you can go up to Rutherford or Kingsland and take the train over there to Hoboken. But I think just to Hudson County in general, I think there's a benefit to having that connection. The only question is, can you make it in a reliable enough way that that it works out? It'll be interesting to see what other, so this is definitely a good candidate to run, on that line to Journal Square. The other lines that can go there, maybe something else for Bloomfield or something like that. We'd like this. I do think that there should definitely be a connection to the Bloomfield train station and downtown Bloomfield in general. But yeah, there definitely needs to be transit on that thing. They can't just make it a bikeway. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and just a little bit of realignment by the Orange train station. Yeah, I don't know. I guess a couple of fewer turns or whatever is covered, a little more Scotland Road and a little bit less of Day Street or whatever. Okay, so the 94 they're recommending to, okay, first of all, it would go both ways down Bloomfield Avenue instead of taking the Garden State Parkway Service Road, which I think is good because there's, some apartments along this part of Bloomfield Avenue. There's the Aldi that's pretty popular, in both directions. So if you live in like East Orange or whatever it is, you're probably going to go shopping at that Aldi. The prices are good and everything. So they streamlined that in both directions. That deviation towards the East Orange station they eliminated. They're just gonna have it go straight to the Brick Church station. So that's good. Brick Church is also the bigger of the two East Orange stations. So East Orange on the weekdays doesn't have any service to New York Penn. It's only a service to Hoboken, so it's considered a local station. Brick Church is considered an express station. But I mean, the stopping patterns on the Morrison Essex line are kind of wild and everything. There's trains that skip Newark Broad and everything. That whole thing needs to be restructured and everything like that in terms of the stopping patterns. Because just for the amount of flexibility, I mean, you got like 3 trains to Hoboken, 4 trains to New York Penn, and if you're stuck in that gap and you need the opposite terminal, you just don't have any service. So yeah, they're gonna break it in half. It's gonna actually go into the Irvington bus terminal. And if you want to get to Point South, you're gonna have to transfer to the number 54 bus, which yeah, hold on 1 second. You're gonna have to transfer to number 54 bus. Yeah, and then that'll branch off to go to Linden and also to Union through a slightly different way, but so yeah, you have the 54, which covers the southern end. So this yeah, like I said, I think it's the Sunday service that's screwing them because it's every 30 minutes. Otherwise, they could call this a type 2 route, or at least this section north of Union, basically. Morris Avenue and everything like that, US 22. This whole section would be a type 2 route because it would be running every 15 minutes or better. But on the thing that screws it on Sunday, it's every half hour and then every hour to the individual branches. So, and this is pretty dense. I mean, Union Center, I mean, they call it Union Center for a reason. I mean, it's a pretty busy, you know, pretty busy area. I mean, a lot of those old urban centers are pretty busy. I mean, Montclair, Bloomfield, you can definitely tell that you're in what is this, Burnett, Stuyvesant, Walker. I think it's like here. You can already tell by the concentration of businesses and everything. I mean, this whole area right here, Stop and Shop. I mean, this is a pretty busy town center. So, yeah, heading south from Irvington and everything like that, you definitely justify a good frequency. Plus the other thing is you're covering for the 66 and everything like that. So, yeah. Okay, so and the other thing is they extended a little bit in Linden to the Walmart over there, which is good. Um, Also connect that Walmart to the Linden train station, to the I think Roselles train station, and over to Irvington and everything. So 96, they want to eliminate. Now the thing is, I would just restructure the 96 in general. So you definitely need a bus running the length of Roseville Avenue. That much is pretty much certain. I mean, maybe not, the last block, you could move around with the last block and everything like that, but I wouldn't cut off the northern section of Roseville Avenue entirely. You do need a north-south route in that area. So, because the 34 would, and their plan have all buses going to Springdale. So what happens is that what I would do is I would restructure this with the 99, and for that matter, if they don't want the 27 running to Bloomfield, they could run the 99 to Bloomfield too. Yeah, switch it up and have the 27 be the one that terminates and the 99 that gets extended. Or whatever. Some night, alternate 99s, whatever, get like every half hour out there. So what I would do is I would have the 96 run up North 6th. You would have to do a little bit of maneuvering to get around. There's some one-way streets in that area. Go down North 6th to start at the Branchburg Park train station, go down North 6th, and then swing over down First Avenue to Roseville and go from there. Now, once it gets here, given that the 34 would be covering Roseville Avenue, you can actually swing it over to First Street cover this area, if you're kind of in, near this park and everything like that, there's a bit of a gap, if you don't want to walk all the way to the light rail station. Also, going around Orange Street, it's, kind of an industrial area with a highway and everything like that. You got this storage unit, storage area, U-Haul. You got these apartments over here. I mean, it's not a super far walk from Orange Street, but it's a bit unpleasant. So you could serve the apartments, especially given that the 34 is already running down Roseville Avenue. Go down First Street, and then what you could do is you run it through the hospital. You could go down 12th, Norfolk. Norfolk becomes Arvine Turner, and then just head over to the hospital and just end it there. So back to Avon, and then down Bergen, and then the 99. You could have it, like I said, even starting in Bloomfield wouldn't be, terrible. Started in, either Bloomfield or Branchbrook Park, run it over to, Mount Prospect and everything. And, you could, Clifton. I would actually break up the 99 into two routes. Actually. So here's what you could do. So you could have the 99 run down Clifton. You don't have to necessarily serve the Broad Street station. You could run it straight down Clifton Avenue. Run it over to, run down Norfolk and then run down 12th the other way to Bergen. So now you have the 96. So the idea of this is to cover both the hospital, because it's a pretty big hospital, provide coverage to, both sides of the hospital from both directions. I mean, the other thing is you can kind of switch them and run one straight up Norfolk and Arvine Turner and the other one down Bergen. But so you could run them like this: Bergen, run this one over to Bergen, and then run them both together down to Beth Israel. And you could end like the 96 there and run the 99 down to Maple Avenue. I mean, I guess what else could, I'm not really wild about it having to loop back up to Irvington. I think maybe some other route from Irvington should probably cover that. But I guess if you have to, you could still do that. So yeah, that's how I would restructure the 96 and 99. Basically, both of them would go from the hospital up to different sections of North Ward. The 99 would cover the areas east of the park. The 96 would cover west of the park. Now for Mount Prospect, what I would do is take the 27F and make that a separate route, running down Mount Prospect, running down, I guess you could run it straight down Bloomfield. You don't necessarily have to cover, because you got the 41 in this area and you got the 99. You could run it, straight down Bloomfield, kind of like the 27, and then swing it over to Penn Station, Newark Penn. Because this area doesn't really have any direct route to Newark Penn. You got the 13 and you got the 27, you got the 99, but you're too far from the light rail. You got to like cross the whole park to get to the light rail and everything like that. So you really don't have any route to Newark Penn from this area. So at least one route from this area should go to Newark Penn. Now, unfortunately, there's a little bit of an elevation difference. Broadway is downhill from Mount Prospect. That's why they call it Forest Hill. There is a hill in that area, but yeah. Now the question is, what do you do on the south for the southern end of the 27? I guess depending on the frequency, you have a couple of options. You could either, I guess, run it to Newark Penn. You could end it at Newark Broad, or you could do something else or whatever. Or you can, depending on the ridership of the 13, maybe you can have it run down Hawthorne and take over the Valley Fair branch of the 13, and then run all 13s over to Irvington Terminal to kind of simplify the 13 that way. Yeah, so you could, yeah, Petty. Oh, that's right, because yeah, so you have Bigelow, and then you have Petty, right? Petty, which becomes Hawthorne. Yeah, um, so those would be alternatives for people, who would take the 39 in that area. So okay, so you have that. So those, the other thing is, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe something could go down Belmont Avenue. So if you swing it, you could run it either down North Six, which is kind of close to the light rail, but between the stops can be a bit far, or run it up Belmont and swing it back over, depending on what's better. Um, but at least you do have the connection to and yeah, you do have the connection over to the light rail station, which is good. And they have a supermarket here. Depending on how you do it, if you want to serve that there, it's yeah, I mean, if you have groceries and everything, it's a little bit far from the light rail station to. I mean, it's not super super far, but maybe stop at Franklin and Belmont for the light rail, and then the next stop at the supermarket, the next stop at Bloomfield Avenue. Or at Sixth, you'd have to, you can make a couple of, yeah, one down here. I mean, depending. Um, more just for connectivity rather than coverage, because you do have the light rail there, and you do just have general coverage in this area. You're either within walking distance of Heller Parkway or Bloomfield Avenue for general coverage. So you got the 99. Okay, 107. Yeah, they messed up on this because there's 107X. They want to make it the local goes to Ivy Hill and the express goes to Irvington, but Current Express, yeah. So they would just run it on weekdays, but I don't know, 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. And I mean, basically, they clarified in one of the meetings that that the 107X would be the 107 would be the current 107X trips, just renumbered with a different number, which okay, whatever, suit yourself, I guess. Um, okay, so this would be the one to Ivy Hill through Weequay. 361 gets combined with the one, consolidated with the one with the frequency. 378, and that's like two trips. So that's like specifically designed for like the shift change and everything. Um, yeah, the UPS center. So that's 1030, and the other one is 418 set service to UPS drive, and this is service from UPS drive. Okay, all right. So we have that. So the 8, okay, I don't really have a problem with that. That's every 15 minutes, weekdays, 30 on the weekend. This is covering the southern section of the 34. Um, number 9. I mean, the thing is, this is kind of duplicative, but I don't know. There might be some reason why, because the number 1 kind of ends right around this area anyway. Probably the simplest thing is to just have the number 1 cover it. But I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to mess up reliability on that route. So 14 goes to Kearney Point. I mean, you can't walk between those two halves, so you get off depending on, here to go here or here to go here, or depending on, if you have bus time and you see you just missed it, you might as well just get off here and just to spend less time waiting and more time on the actual bus, especially if it's cold. But yeah, that's to avoid the deviations on the 3 and the 4. 771. Um, I probably run this a little bit later just because uh, yeah, especially Eagle Rock Avenue has some. It's weird. So Eagle Rock Avenue right now doesn't have any service, but where are we? A second, we're down here. So the thing is that you do have some like garden apartments and everything, so it's uphill from everything. Okay, so this is kind of the middle of nowhere, actually. Okay, see, there's houses, some garden apartments, and you have the entrance to like some apartment complex. This is an actual apartment building, but you can't, it's kind of blocked off from everything. But I mean, there's enough people there that, I do think it's worth, oh boy, actually, can you even, I don't really know if you can cross the street. They should probably put some kind of traffic light here or something like that, because it's not really right to have people running across like what's kind of a small highway to get to the bus if you're going to be trying to serve this area. But in any case, you provided some connectivity anyway. Getting over towards the Whole Foods and everything. Um, from West Orange, from this, I guess, northern section. So right now the 771 comes down here and goes, up towards the shop, right, and everything. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I probably run it a little bit later on the weekends, especially considering you got to give people time to get there from Newark. So right now, let's look at the schedule for this. I know the last one on the weekends run. Sorry, on the weekdays is 9:24 on the 79. Let's just take a quick look for. No, it doesn't run on Saturday. Because I guess the that's the Jewish Sabbath. Um, sorry, it doesn't run on Saturday. Yeah, so but it does run on Sunday. It runs a couple of trips in the morning. 7:30. Okay, so it is a span extension compared to what it is now. Um, so what else? There's a 71 and the 73. And I know like 8:37, I think, is the last 71 on the weekends and 8:45 for the weekdays. So what time is this for Orange? Let's put it for Erie Loop, 9:07. And going back, Saturdays, weekdays. Yeah, I mean, it should probably, going, 10 o'clock. I mean, it should probably be something like 11 o'clock or so. And I don't know, but we'll have to see the final schedule once they come out with it. Pleasant Valley Way and Eagle Rock Avenue, Essex Green Shopping Center. Yeah, like all of them kind of run the same thing, so it doesn't run all the way out to West Caldwell. 10:57 holidays, Sundays. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what the schedule is, but I think the span should be. It's good. It's good that they run it on Saturday, but we'll have to look at the actual span to see what it is. So my guess is, given that it's probably going to be based out of the Orange Depot, the peak will be outbound in the morning and inbound in the afternoon. So the first trip of the morning will leave from Orange, and the last trip will return to Orange. Um, so I guess depending on what time, maybe toss an extra round trip on the thing if that thing takes like an hour to do or whatever it is. Probably not even, but yeah, an extra couple of round trips. Okay, so we have that 773, pretty much the same comment, I'd say. Is the quicker way to Livingston Mall compared to the 775, which is going to go all the way up Eagle Rock Avenue and everything. Hopefully, they coordinate, everything so that, like, for example, if you're in Livingston, you have the 771, 775. Those should be somewhat offset so that you can take either bus to Orange. And from Livingston Mall, those should be offset so you could take either bus to Orange. So the 770. Yeah, they'll have to work something out on the schedule. 1 second. So this should leave first and gain some time and get ahead. And then this could leave second. And this leads to, yeah, I mean, you're not really going to get in both directions and everything for both sides. I don't know, you might have to pick one or the other, whether you either residential Livingston or the Livingston Mall to try and alternate them. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Now this, if we look in the okay, so now well, okay. Okay, maybe we'll okay, so this, this should definitely at least head over to the Willowbrook Mall, make that even more of a hub and connect with, anything from Union City, New York City, Newark, uh Patterson, should connect with all those routes. Um, okay, 775 we already kind of discussed. 776. You could almost argue this should probably go to Irvington rather than just go to the Hilton Garage, but I guess it saves some money just going to so you connect with the 39, the 25, and the 70, but none of the other Irvington routes. Okay, so that's this section of the plan. Now we have, this, so we already kind of discussed the 1, the 3, the 9, 42, which at that time, it ended up getting eliminated. So the 40, this is just going to the Elizabeth Rail Station, which is not in the new plan. Now this one is the same thing. Like I don't know what the frequency would be on this, but and this looks like it would go from University Heights through the Ironbound to Newark Airport. So I don't think that's really necessary. Um, given that the you could just transfer it broad and mark it for the 62 or the Go 28 and get there a lot quicker. So I guess to be fair, it would be a little quicker to the North Area Transit Center, but then that's what you got the 40 for. Um, okay, 34. So they're recommending cutting it back to Newark Penn, which is also in the new plan. They're making a little bit of an adjustment in Montclair, which I think they also recommended in the new plan. Okay, so the Bloomfield branch will be a new route called the 36. Orange Garage 34G. Yeah, I mean, they recommend running it late, which, I mean, generally I agree. It's the 34 is a pretty busy route. Bloomfield to Newark Airport, North Area Transit Center. Um, okay, so what is this that they're showing in this thing? Is this, okay, this is I guess the official 34, which ends at Penn Station. Then you got the 36, which, okay, covers the Upper Roseville section, goes to Bloomfield, as opposed to continuing down Prospect and being consolidated along Springdale Avenue. Um, okay, 12th Avenue goes across Market, Ferry, and then to the North Area Transit Center, and then Jersey Gardens. Okay, so yeah, I think a simple transfer to the 40 is sufficient for those, especially considering it goes down South Street. Yeah, and the 40 kind of goes back to Broad and back to South. Um, for those trips and everything. So we're at 25. Maplewood. Okay, so I think in this one they have it ending at the Hilton Garage. Um, so they would have the two branches of the 25. This one, I think they also mentioned, yeah, they would skip the Hilton, which I don't know, probably some easy ride thing, and maybe even from the train, they're connecting like the 70 and the train, and the Hilton would be a good substitute. Right on. So the 70, oh, in this one, yeah. So oh yeah, that's the other thing too. The 70 would go down through it would run all the way down Springfield Avenue, and it wouldn't make that little diversion to like Milburn and everything like that. It would go all the way through Vauxhall. Um, in this case, they're recommending the 25 to Vauxhall as opposed to ending it at Hilton or Irvington. Um, okay, what else? 771 in this case. I think they're just showing what are they showing on the 771? I think they mentioned the proposal for the 7. Yeah, no, I don't know. 71. East or Orange to Newark Penn. So they're doing phase 1, phase 2. They're talking about how they're going to serve the West Ward. Not really the West Ward, but the western section. It's sort of like the Central Ward, the western section of uh, of the number 5. So the first thing they would do is, yeah, they would run it past Newark Penn, like I mentioned, and head up to the Walmart from there. Um, then they would break off the separate section, send this section from East Orange down through 10th Street over to Hawthorne, and somewhere along New York State. I mean, sorry, Jersey, New Jersey State 24 along Furling-Houston Avenue. All right, so the 13, they want to have one branch to Passaic. But in this case, they're just cutting it back to Big Tree Garage. Yeah, there was also apparently a branch that went down to a cancer center that closed, so it went up to Almond Street and back down. Okay, that's that. 27. Okay, so yeah, they recommend going just between Bloomfield and Irvington. Lake Street would be the 27K. Clifton to Nutley would be served by the 74. Which actually isn't included, I don't think, in the scope of this because it's, I guess, considered a Patterson route because it's out of the Market Street Garage. They'll terminate at Lake Street Loop. Okay, Newark Penn to Harrison Avenue. Okay, yeah, they're looking to eliminate oh, right, because yeah, I think they mentioned terminating some of these routes at the Orange Street Transit Center, which would be right off the highway, is what I think they were proposing. Okay, so we got that. We got the 27. Okay, yeah, Mississippi Loop is what they're saying. Okay, Newark Penn, Park Avenue to Newark Airport. So they would extend that over to Newark Airport. Um, yeah, they were looking to, considering terminating at the Park Avenue station. But if anybody's trying to travel south to Broader Market, they would have to transfer twice. So they're recommending going to Newark Airport, which I just think the 62 and go 28 should be enough. I think Newark Penn is definitely a lot more important. 43 Lincoln Park to Journal Square. Um, so yeah, in that case, they actually yeah, they would have a route. I think this is. I mean, the existing 43, I forget what it did. Um, oh, okay. They would take away the service to okay, so they would have just cut it back to Journal Square as opposed to going to the southern section of Jersey City and Exchange Place. Okay. Um. Okay, and they would run it down Harrison Avenue as opposed to running it down I-280. But I think it would only run a few trips a day if I'm not mistaken. Okay, go 28. This was actually not in existence at the time, but I think I mentioned I would run it down to through First Avenue to cover that section served by 34. Which funny enough, the further up in this proposal, they mentioned suggesting like the 36 go to Newark Airport and so yeah, this would be rather I think the like the north terminal and then go to Jersey Gardens. But yeah, I think just not really the same idea, but yeah, it'll work. Um, Yeah, the original Go 28, they wanted to do they wanted to serve all the colleges and everything. So under that thing, they wanted to extend it on the north side, the regular 28 to the Wayne Transit Center. I think time permitting, I think they're saying like within the cycle time. Um, and then ultimately they wanted to terminate the bus, a lot of the buses at the Bloomfield Avenue Light Rail Station, which I don't think there's a lot of turnover at that station. I guess partially because of the transfer policy, but I think you need to at least go to like Newark Broad, and at that point you might as well just go all the way to Newark Penn, but at least Newark Broad to get to the all the connections that are there, the train, to Hoboken, to Penn Station, the 108, I guess, depending on how that goes. Okay, so that's the one, so that's oh, they actually recommend going down Route 46 as opposed to going through Little Falls. Okay, so go 24 and okay, yeah, they recommend Springfield Avenue BRT, Jersey Gardens, and Elizabeth Plainfield. Yeah, they want an overlay of the Go 59. See, that's the thing though, that the frequency probably wouldn't be that big because it wouldn't be that frequent because they don't really mention that much of a big increase. Um, yeah, so I don't know what frequently. It'd probably be like once an hour on the local or something like that. If they were to make a lot, Go 59, Go 51, yeah, go to Newark Airport. Yeah, so some of these, I think, yeah, that they I don't know when the 361 started or the 375. I don't know if these were pretty sure those might have existed at the time of the study was already, but I could be wrong. Okay, yeah, they Bloomfield to Union and then Irvington bus terminal to Linden. So there'll be some overlap in this case between Irvington and Union. And the extension to Aviation Plaza, I think, is the same on both. Yeah, once it's redeveloped. Okay. Okay, 97 proposed for elimination, 96. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there should still be some kind of service in that part of Montclair. The thing with the 97 is that connects with the Brick Church station, but I don't know how well it's timed with any express trains or anything to New York City. But I think that it could be better served as like a branch of the 41 or the 34 for that matter. Okay, 99. Okay, Keene University. Okay, I guess suppose that's feasible, I guess. And that is a good point. It connects to the Union Railroad station. Okay, yeah, it would go the intersection. Oh, wow, to Elizabeth. Um, oh, okay. They would basically combine the 90 with the 26. Okay, Branch Brook Park to Irvington. Yeah, and the other one I think it's better. They go to North Arlington. Um, and actually, okay, this goes to Irvington rather than just South Orange. That might work. Um, so the train is once an hour. Of course, the question is what frequency would they have? So Wayne Transit Center to Summit and Maplewood to Wayne. Now this kind of seeks to fill in the gaps. If you were to make like a Route 10, like the 771, 773, 775, kind of serves like the north-south gaps that would be created. But definitely, I think at the minimum, going from um, West Caldwell over to Willowbrook Mall is necessary. So this is okay, 92. Okay, fair enough. Or maybe some like alternate buses or something could terminate at go to Irvington. Okay, so this is the 95 and 98. So you kind of see Passaic Avenue, Fairfield Avenue. Yeah, they're covering and Milburn. Oh, that's Summit. Oh, Maplewood or something? What do they say? 98 to Maplewood, 95 to Summit. That's Maplewood then. Okay. And then Summit's there. Okay, yeah, I don't know. That was their way of kind of, but I like the way the current Newark bus redesign. I think handle it. I think it's a little better. Um, Question is down, yeah, Passaic. Okay, so yeah, the two loops of the proposed 774, which is now the loop of this 71, get covered by individual things, and then you have the 871 going down US 46. Okay, Irvington to Newark Port. Okay, Avon South to Remus. Yeah, I think that you could do that going to Newark Penn and then transferring to the 9, which covers the eastern end of the 25. Okay, and then you have this 277. Okay, North Arlington to Jersey Gardens by downtown Newark, and okay, so that was mentioned earlier. Bayonne to Newark Airport. I definitely agree with that. That's for that matter, you could also extend the 89 that way, and you could have one continuous route that goes from Staten Island to Bayonne, and then Newark Airport. I don't think it necessarily has to go to Jersey Gardens, but at least Newark Airport. Um, Newark and Elizabeth to North and South area transit centers. I don't, I don't think that's really necessary. Um, I mean, the other thing is, this if it's not with the 89, this could be combined with like the Broadway bus and cover that way. Yeah. Well, this is going to be covered by the microtransit zone anyway. 37, an extension to Union City. I think that could actually work. Um, the only question is, how would it handle congestion around, getting into the, because it wouldn't use the bus lane. It would have to use that exit that the 108 uses, which could get congested at times. Probably, every other bus or something like that. Um, doesn't say what will cover Irvington, but maybe like the 92 or so. I think it was the 92 that they were mentioning. I cover it. I mean, sorry, South Orange. The 92 might swing over to Irvington. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. So how do we go to okay, I don't know. Yeah, it could be wrong. Okay, so Route 62, Newark Penn to Elizabeth. Okay, and oh, and they want to break it up at they want to break it twice. They would have broke. Okay, so Newark Penn to Elizabeth is what it is now. The stuff to Perth Amboy would, that would have been a separate route, and then they would have broken it into. Oh. What did they say to Elizabeth? It should be to Rahway. Okay, so yeah, to Rahway is what they originally, but they ended up breaking it at Elizabeth instead. Um, but that's the current 62 as it is right now. And what is this? This is the okay, the one through Carteret. They would send it that way, go to Metro Park. Yeah, I would restructure it a little. Um, yeah, have both branches go to the Woodbridge Mall. Okay, this is down Wood Avenue. Yeah, because they also got the shuttles too. Rahway to Cranford. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if there's that much demand for it, but because it looks like it's trying to replace like the 56 or something. Broadway to Cranford. I think that's, yeah, it's trying to replace like the 56, and yeah, instead of going to Winfield, it will go to Cranford. Does it mention that the 56 would be eliminated? What is this? What's the number on this thing? 809. It doesn't mention anything about the 56. Maybe I don't know. That might be a little bit duplicative. Though on the other hand, at least it would offer a connection to the rail on both sides. Journal Square, it's a central terminal area. I mean, this isn't quite as necessary if you have something from Bayonne, if you have a good transfer point. But if not, then yeah, this would actually be useful as well. The other thing is, at least once you're at Journal Square, you can get to Union City that way. 38. I don't think you need one just for the Marriott. Probably just a shuttle from the 62 should be all right. At least in this one, it connects to all the branches along out of the Suburban Light Rail. This is the West Side branch. This is the Bayonne and Hoboken branch, and then it heads over I-78 to the airport. And this 38. This is the one to the yeah, I guess to the hotel, to the Hilton. Okay, Cranford to Elizabeth. Okay, so that would be the local compared to the okay, so yeah, they're saying make a busway and put some of the routes that run in that area along the 112, put it onto the busway. Yeah, it's the 112. Oh, they're saying the 54 would cover that. Okay. And then from Union County Tech, I guess it would swing back. Let me see real quick. Yeah, I guess it would go to there. Okay, fair enough. Down Railway Avenue to Westfield is what they said. Route 54. Cranford. Oh, 54. Okay. Oh, yeah, I don't know what they're. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. So it wouldn't go the other way. It would go north. Okay. Okay, 66, Newark to Watchung Square. Okay, I think they're just kind of renumbering this. Yeah, well, like I said, in the other one, it gets eliminated and replaced with, some transfers that they don't mention. The 70, all those routes should be mentioned, but they're not. 56, North Elizabeth to Winfield. Okay, yeah, they recommend sending the 56 up through Division Street, Elizabeth to Aviation Plaza. That I could see them doing as part of the. Okay, so Jersey Gardens to Arnett Street. Oh, but this would be like a long way around. I remember this one. Elizabeth by Morris. Okay. Oh, they would extend it over to Summit, which I guess makes sense. I mean, connecting the two rail lines that way. The Morrison Essex and Northeast Corridor. Yeah, this one is the long way around to Arnett Street. Yeah, they're recommending going to yeah, so they would have to transfer the light rail with the 21. The SX Mall, but that's kind of a short distance from Orange. Um, okay, there's talking about the different phases that they would have. Okay, Newark Penn to Morristown via State Route 10. I think this is kind of what ended up becoming the 771, and then this one via South Orange Avenue. That's like an extension of the Coach USA 31. So what is this? That's a 45. That's down Route 10. And then that gets kind of combined with the 872 under their proposal, as opposed to going up to Parsippany like in the other one, in the current one. 46, Columbus Turnpike. So that goes, yeah, okay, that goes, okay. Yeah, well, it's good that if they run it to Penn Station all times. 76. Okay. All right, the Meadowlands, it'll be replaced with the 772. Okay, that I get. Um, okay, Newark to American Dream. Okay, that would make sense. Route 16. Now if you extended that to American Dream, that would make sense. So this is on the 76, but then they don't show the routings of the other ones. Okay, 29. Um, okay, yeah, that would run as part of Route 79. New York to Pacific Troy Hills. Okay, yeah, I think it was a little simpler the way they did it in the newer plan. So that's the 29. Okay, they would just cut it back. Then you have the 79, which would have a 79 local, and then that would connect to the 29. And you have the 79X that goes up to 80. Okay, restructured 65. So it would go Plainfield as opposed to Bridgewater Commons. The other one would be Bridgewater Commons to Plainfield. That'll be like a local version of the 114. I don't think that's, yeah, that would take away the direct access from Somerville, even though they have the train, of course, but um, yeah, so they would break that in half. Ranch Brook Park Light Rail to Patterson. So this is interesting because yeah, they actually also recommend in the old one, cutting it back from the main Bloomfield Avenue corridor. So it would run, yeah, down Franklin, loop down to the train, go down Franklin, go to Branch Brook Park. Um, but yeah, like I said, at the end, you need something that goes directly to from Newark Penn to Patterson, and that should go down Carter Highway. Okay, Rutgers to Scotch Plains, New Brunswick to Watchung Square. Yeah, one of the things that I saw that I liked, this would be more for a Central Jersey thing, but there was a user that proposed a Plainfield to Perth Amboy route, which I think is really good. Um, by Woodbridge Mall and everything. But Rutgers, New Brunswick to Scotch Plains, and New Brunswick to Watchung Square. Okay. But yeah, I also think that there should really be connections between the Northeast Corridor and Raritan Valley line. That's definitely needed. A better New Brunswick to Boundbrook Corridor. Edison to Plainfield, a touch into Plainfield. All those things need to be kind of straightened out. Newark Penn to Livingston Mall via Mount Pleasant. Okay, I mean, those are like branch. Seem like the current. Like that's like the 73, I think. That's whatever. I guess I don't know. I think that's the question. What would be the frequency that they recommend for that? Probably the simplest. Every half hour from Orange is probably the simplest. Okay, 24, which by the way isn't mentioned in the okay, Route 12 proposed for elimination. I think that's the one from Elizabeth to it's basically like the southern version of the 44. Okay, go bus South Orange Avenue. Yeah, that's the thing too. That you know ideally that should go back to Livingston Mall, but if it can't, it should at least go to South Orange full time. Okay, the 108 wasn't really mentioned in that was the other one that was kind of skipped over. Um, yeah, irony, now all the things, all the 108 serve Union City for better or for worse. Um, yeah, that's the thing with the 108. I mean, it's like it covers the areas of Newark that already have, rail access. So that should probably get split up somehow. I'm just not sure exactly how. I mean, the simplest thing would probably be like maybe extend it from the Colonnade uh, down to like Central Avenue and come down like where the 5 is right now. Um, and try to provide some coverage in the West Ward while also, or the Central Ward or whatever it is, while also providing service to to Manhattan. Um, and what else? So Orange, okay. We go down the rest of this. Okay, so that covers like Irvington and I guess Union too, actually. Maplewood, South Orange, that goes well. That goes back to South Orange, okay. And then they do the math on that and calculate how much it's going to be extra and the peak buses and everything. So yeah, that's basically my analysis for the Newark redesign. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, feel free to let me know. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. Okay.